Gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Haileybury 1, brought to you by Haileybury Bhaluka, Bangladesh's leading international school. Today we have two exciting guests. First up is Mr. Simon O'Grady. He's an alumnus from London School of Economics, but more importantly, he's the headmaster of Haileybury Bhaluka. Now, as you may know, Haileybury Bhaluka is amongst a part of Haileybury UK, which is one of the world's leading academically achieving schools. It's amongst the top 2% in terms of global IB results and top 100 in terms of IGCSE results. Haileybury Bhaluka takes a lot from there, and out here Haileybury Bhaluka is based out of an 850-acre estate. Our country is absolutely, I would say, excited to have this campus. You can see that Haileybury Bhaluka having all its teachers certified by Harvard, as well as ensuring that almost 61% of students globally of Haileybury go to Russell Group and Ivy League universities. It's a great thing to have Haileybury out here, and it's a great thing to have Simon out here. Simon, welcome to the show Haileybury 1.
Thank you, Dr. Sandeep, and great to be here.
Excellent. And right now, our second guest today is someone you would already know. She's Ms. Rubaba Dowla. She's a corporate leader, very well renowned. She's also a thought leader, a technology thought leader, I would say, and one of the strongest advocates of women's empowerment. Ms. Rubaba Dowla is the country managing director of Oracle, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan. Oracle, if you would, it's a very common name. It's a Fortune 500 company, and more importantly, globally it provides solutions and infrastructure for companies to help them innovate, to ensure that they work more efficiently and effectively. And Ms. Rubaba Dowla, who is out here leading the charge, she has more than 25 years experience in the country. She's worked in multiple industries, from Airtel to I think Grameenphone, and now to Oracle. She's also done executive education from London School of Business and Harvard. Ms. Rubaba Dowla, it's fantastic to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this program. Really happy to be here and to learn about Haileybury.
Fantastic. Simon, Rubaba, we go to segment 1. And segment 1 is basically on women's empowerment. Rubaba, I go on to you at this point, and I'm sure that women's empowerment is a very, very good thing, for us. We have a fantastic, what should I say, focus in Bangladesh on women's empowerment, but let me share with you some statistics of the World Bank. Number one, World Bank in one report said that globally, women representation in ICT is pretty less. It's about 28% globally. In the US, it's 23%, and in Europe, it's 19%. I would suspect that in Bangladesh, it is much lesser. Now, I know that Oracle came here about 4 years ago, and they immediately selected you to lead them, and you ensured that Oracle is now perhaps leading, cloud performing company in Bangladesh. Now, my question is, you're a woman. What are you or Oracle doing to ensure that Oracle, not just Oracle, but the tech industry per se in Bangladesh is more women-oriented in recruitments?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very interesting and timely discussion actually for us. Yeah. And as you mentioned, the statistics and the facts are very alarming, right?
Right.
Especially if you look at the World Economic Forum report as well, which says that it may take about 250 years to close the gender parity gap. And some reports say it might take more than 150 years. So the severe lack of diversity that we see in the tech sector is horrific. Yeah. Now, I'm very lucky to be part of Oracle, and you may be happy to learn that just recently Forbes has actually recognized us as one of the world's top employers for women in 2023. Wow. And I believe there's no magic fix to nurturing an environment for women to thrive and become professionally successful. And it hasn't really happened in a vacuum, right? At Oracle, they have really worked for decades to build a workplace which actually gives value and empowers people. And this is also something that has happened in the long term. There has been a lot of intersectional thinking that has gone into building this kind of workforce. So I can see how we are empowered. I don't know if you know, but the Oracle Global CEO is a lady. She's running one of the topmost software companies in the world, Safra Cats. I've been recruited for Bangladesh, Nepal and Bhutan. And my colleague in Singapore, who is the MD of Singapore Oracle, she's a lady. My another colleague in Philippines is also a lady. So you can see that Oracle makes sure that they are positioning women in very prominent places. And what we believe is when you can see it, you also feel that you can also be it, right? And that's very important for us. And there's an Oracle Women Leadership Program that we run across various organizations across the world. And what we do is we identify women and we try to retain and advance them in terms of their career aspiration. So these are all the things that we are doing to ensure that women feel safe, they feel that there's fairness, and they're valued and empowered. See, sometimes what the corporations do is that just in terms of tokenization, you put a percentage, that this percentage would be women in my leadership or what. But you really have to empower them. They have to have the decision-making power. They need to be seen, and that's what we are doing right. And to go a little deeper onto your question, which is very important, I think the main reason why you see lack of women in the workforce is directly related to the inequality we see in the classroom. So the gender stereotyping that we have done with regard to STEM education when it comes to maths and science is something which is actually perhaps not letting the girls choose those kind of maths and science subjects and then, you know, join back. Because when I want to recruit women in the tech industry at Oracle Bangladesh, I hardly can find any. Even though our percentage is almost 30%, but still I would like it to be more than 50%, you know, and I want more women to come into tech. Yeah.
Fantastic answer. I mean, really remarkable. You are a stellar example of a woman leading a technology company in Bangladesh, in the subcontinent, where the male-oriented focus, you know, sometimes remains. And I was telling Simon that thank God our guest is a lady, otherwise 3 men discussing on women's empowerment would, you know, absolutely look odd. But then, Simon, from what she said, there's a follow-up question to you. And I'm glad you picked the STEM thing, because that's going to really, you know, get his goat. So Simon, in January 2023, McKinsey released a report where it's a known fact that it's tough to find and retain women in the tech industry or even in the tech-oriented jobs. So they wanted to find out why is this happening, and they went back down the value chain step by step, and they found out that the issue that happens globally emanates from schools. Well, in schools, schools are trying to motivate girls to take the STEM courses, the science, technology, engineering, maths courses, but from schools, when they go to the university level or the college level, they don't choose those courses. So McKinsey said that perhaps, you know, there was evidence that said that schools are not giving them the motivation that if you take these courses in your further education, you'll be successful. So they stick to the same old courses and same old career paths. Now, Haileybury is a leading school globally. And don't mind my question, Haileybury Bhaluka is a boys-only boarding school. Haileybury is one of the highest academically achieving schools globally. I mean, you guys have the only AR, VR enabled tech labs out here. Haileybury UK is both boys and girls. In fact, I got the report recently that boys equal girls even in boarding school and in the day school. Now, my question is, why are you making Haileybury Bhaluka only boys? Why should it not also include girls? How would you, why would you want to limit such world-class education to just boys?
You know, Sandeep, Haileybury has a mission to transform education in Bangladesh for all children, boys and girls. And we know that education is a key to empowerment. So our values of self-respect and collaboration, they will give our students choice and opportunity in later life. We will phase in co-education at Haileybury at a near future point. And indeed, we are already working on plans to open a co-educational primary school in Dhaka. And that will be our basis for feeding successful students to Haileybury Bhaluka. We recognize that women's empowerment is a platform for equality and success. And indeed, we support the empowerment of women in all sectors, but specifically those of underrepresentation, such as design, engineering, and software. So Haileybury is bringing the professors from MIT to Bangladesh. First time ever to stage an engineering summer school this year. And this is a significant event for girls and boys from local schools in Bangladesh that we are aiming to offer the opportunity to. Now, how amazing is that? And you're absolutely right. It does start in schools, and it's incumbent upon us to make sure it happens now. Not in 250 years, okay, or indeed 160 years of Haileybury UK, but now. So, in wanting all learners, boys and girls, to be high performers, I would say three things to all children. And it starts young. And these three things must be happening in all classrooms, from early years to primary to secondary.
Yep.
First of all, and this is my message to parents as well, first thing is be values driven and focus on those qualities and skills that are needed to support you. Secondly, have that growth mindset. And the power of yet is going to be your lifelong compass to success. And the last thing I would say is that be entrepreneurial in your approach. Take considered risks. And indeed, as you fail, you try and try again. And that's the advice for girls and boys across all schools. And indeed, as you know, we are supporting other schools in our mission to change the education landscape in Bangladesh.
Fantastic, Simon. You spoke significantly, but I think that made a lot of sense. We move on to segment 2, and this is to directly do with AR and VR technologies and cloud technologies, something where Oracle has been a leader, throughout. So Simon, I'll take you back to the classroom now and to the McKinsey survey I talked about. Now, in the McKinsey survey, they said that across, I would say, classrooms across the world, we've heard about AI, VI, we've heard about AR, VR, cloud technologies even. They said that these things, including machine-enabled teaching assistants, for example, all these things are absolutely very less endowed. Schools of today are not endowed with these technologies. I know for one that Haileybury is setting up the campus here with the nation's first AI vs smart classrooms. The technology, the libraries where I've noticed the VR being available is phenomenal. And I also noticed that how Apple has launched their Vision Pro, and which has a complete combination with educational software. Now my question is, all this is pretty costly. And if you just want to include even a VR system in your, or AR system in your classrooms, it's very, very cost prohibitive. Now, while Haileybury, I can understand, is one of the world's leading schools, and you put maximum infrastructure out there, but that's not affordable by normal schools. Should normal schools actually include such curriculum in their students' teaching? And if yes, how will they do it?
The short answer is they will do it with our support and guidance. And it's incumbent upon us to make sure that our community is not just restrictive, but seen to embrace, the wider communities and schools of Bangladesh. And so rather than trying to resist the tide, we use tidal power to our advantage. And indeed, rather than try and resist technology, it is really important that we embrace it. And so for me, is not a question of how, it's a question of why. And indeed, these shared solutions that we are intending to support schools with, 10 local schools on our agenda already. These solutions are practical in nature and indeed powerful in their impact. Let me give you a few examples. AI adaptive learning tools that can help track student progress and pinpoint so clinically where they need coaching to excel. All schools can do that. Secondly, AI tech that aids equity and inclusion. Tech aiding equity and inclusion. Accessibility tools for children with special needs are going to be fundamental to their transformation in normal school contexts, and indeed allow them to participate with their peers on a par in classroom activities. So tech is giving that aid to equity and inclusion in a practical way. And this is irresistible. And so to answer your question, you can see why schools are going to jump at the chance if given the support. It's the third thing I would say is that we talk about AI communities. And we don't see AI or VR as a narrow privilege of the few. It's the right of the many. And it's incumbent upon schools like Haileybury and indeed corporates to make sure that that happens, particularly in Bangladesh. So AI-supported communities will serve both individual learners and educators. With educators, for example, you can imagine cross-school, cross-sector collaboration, building professional learning communities. And that's key, because yes, we've talked about tech, but you're still going to need great teachers.
Of course.
And the tech is going to be that means to an end, that glue together, whereby Haileybury Bhaluka will be sharing its ideas and solutions and experience with other schools. And the tech is the means to that end. As you've said, Haileybury is already regarded as a centre of excellence for teaching and learning. And indeed, we're already invested in AI solutions and VR technology. But we're also invested in making sure that the impact that we have is not just focused upon our 85-acre school campus, it's focused upon the entire nation.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's absolutely enlightening, Simon. Thank you for sharing these thoughts. I recall one ad that was released by Haileybury Bhaluka recently for a teacher for AI. And that's the first time I've seen such an ad, that you've got teachers for AI for schools. Remarkable, absolutely remarkable. Back to you, Rubaba.
Sure.
Now, when I was doing my master's and PhD, I would know, that's many years ago, I would know of Oracle as a finance ERP leader. Whenever we would talk about Oracle, it would be they're into finance, they're into ERP, and pretty respectable, and a Fortune 500 company still. But over time, Oracle has turned to cloud. And to be a leader in cloud technology is something which has come relatively recently. It's remarkable. And even in Bangladesh, Oracle is now the leader for cloud technologies and services, with private corporations, governments, institutions taking up your services. But cloud is cloud. People don't know what is cloud. Now, what is exactly cloud services? And more importantly, if you look at the youth of today, and there are many who would be watching this program, today they're only thinking of doing skilling in IT, but then should they be doing some skilling in cloud services? Would you give them a preference if they were to do that?
Absolutely. I mean, just to first address what you mentioned at first, yes, we have transformed as a company. We have been operating globally for more than 40 years, and we are known as a database platform provider, leader in database and also ERP. And over the past 10, 12 years, we have now transformed and now focusing on cloud technology, as you have rightly stated. And as a result, we are all trying to also shift our mindset. And we have seen during the pandemic that how people, organizations, companies wanted to digitize. And that actually gave more momentum to the adoption of cloud during that process, because then many organization, companies understood the benefit of cloud. And why we have transformed as well is because Oracle is very customer-centric company. I mean, customer success is our North Star. So we understand what is the need of the hour and the demand. What cloud brings is flexibility for organizations. You can scale your operation at any length, at any time. You don't have to wait for your hardwares to come in and installation and support service, etc. Right? It brings in cost efficiency, and that's on top of every CEO and CIO's mind. How can I bring more cost efficiency? And that's where we actually bring in cloud computing. And if you really look at the entire IT sector across industries, everybody is now connected to IT one way or the other. It's like a thread connecting everything. Like you said, in education as well, AI, AR, VR. Why are we doing that? Because that's the future. It's not even why, it's like when are you going to do it? You have to do it right now. Otherwise you'll be falling behind. So it's very important for the next generation, youth, children to understand the benefit of learning computer science and engineering. So, and that's why we also have programs under Oracle Academy where we give, it's a global philanthropy program, where we give free access to these contents. It's a virtual content. And for even faculty members and students, they can get access to tutorial, video, content, etc., which can be also included in their curriculum to teach them about cloud computing. I myself have completed a foundational course on cloud computing, and it's free for everybody, by the way. You can get certification as well for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. I've learned so much through that that now I can converse with anybody. So that is making the students ready for job. They're getting them ready from school to college as well, that which path you want to take. Now the demand, if you see, is for data scientists, is for cloud compute developers, it's for AI specialists. So these are all the things that's coming. Fourth industrial revolution, there's going to be some displacement of job as well. So you really have to also upskill. At the same time, the ones who are now just in schools have to understand what's there for the future in terms of job opportunity. So it's very important to focus on cloud technology, and all the sectors, all the industries are going to have high demand for this, and that's going to be the future. Yeah.
Simon, Rubaba, I take you back to a management concept, which is basically collaborating versus competition. Some years ago, I was reading this blue ocean theory, which said that the world has a lot of markets where you really don't need to compete everywhere. If there's a market, I mean, there's a lot of competition, go to another market where there's no competition. I mean, okay, every theory has its criticism, but the part I took was this part about, it's better to collaborate and perhaps not to compete directly. Now, coming to you, Rubaba, one of the biggest collaborations that I've seen of Oracle has been with Microsoft, and for example, with Azure, I know that there's a lot of collaboration that's going on. Right. How has the collaboration with Microsoft worked out, in all these years, and which other so-called competitors are you collaborating with? There's more with the perspective of teaching people, that in the industry, that perhaps collaboration works better than competing.
Absolutely. I think a decade back, it was all about competition on price, on product, on innovation, etc. Okay. Now, in this era of technology, yes, of course, the competition is more on the innovation part. So I think when two companies are coming together, if the differentiation between the products is not that high, then you don't collaborate. But when there is a differentiation, then there is actually opportunity for collaboration. Why? Because collaboration is actually another form of competition. It doesn't mean that you're actually losing your sight of your business goal. It's a strategic tactic, right? For example, Sony competes with Samsung, but they are collaborating. But they have their own territory and own value chain that they're operating in. But they're still collaborating because they're taking the strengths of each party. Similarly, for Oracle, as I said earlier, that for us, customer is the key, and we don't want customers to rely on only one cloud service provider, and that's not wise or practical. So it's important for us to give them that opportunity to choose what is best fit for the customer, right? From that point of view, we have been actually establishing that relationship with Microsoft. and for last, I think, many years. And then in 2022, we announced that we are making our database service available on Microsoft Azure. What that means is that customers who have got Oracle database doesn't have to only put it on Oracle Cloud, they can now host the workload on Azure. So this is a very interesting, way of collaborating with, two parties. We are both giants in our own terms, and we have come together, and that is helping the customer and it's helping us to grow. Similarly, we have done collaboration with AWS as well. We have made our MySQL HeatWave available on AWS, which is Amazon's cloud services. And that has helped now customers to gain and enjoy the benefits of HeatWave on AWS. So this is actually the way forward as we see, because world is converging. Technology is bringing everything in one place. And if you really want to sustain in terms of cost, in terms of the future, of course, the uncertainties that we have, then you really have to collaborate and take your strengths together and move forward, and yet can establish your own position in the market.
No wonder. I think the evidence of a strategy is this, final status it gives in revenues and market capitalization.
Absolutely.
For our viewers, Oracle globally is right now in the top 3 in terms of revenues and market capitalization. So I think it works.
And also recently, Gartner's Magic Quadrant, they have also recognized Oracle as the leader in strategic platform for cloud services. So we have just become leader, even though we have come much later than the incumbents, we have really focused on that area. And now we are a leader in that quadrant as well. So that's good.
Fantastic. Simon, my next question to you. I'm asking all the hard questions to you, I think. Now, Simon, I know Haileybury is a global leader, but you have been very, very vocal about collaborating with schools. I'll take one initiative, that is the Be Safe institution or organization that you formed, which is Bangladesh Safeguarding Association for Educators. I understand that safeguarding associations are not there in Bangladesh, and this is one unique, organization you've set up for ensuring all schools collaborate on child safety and safeguarding. But you've also gone beyond this. You've also offered high-performance learning from Oxford, which is what you're using in the schools. You've offered it free of cost to other schools. Now, Haileybury doesn't need branding. I'm not being immodest, or we know that it's a leading school. It's ranked number 5 by the Sunday Times now on the UK private boarding schools list. Why do you need to collaborate? Just devil's advocate.
Let's start with first principles. So we believe that all children can learn. And we believe that all children have the right to a great education. That's a fundamental principle for Haileybury. Now, in Bangladesh, many children do not go to school in this country because they feel that they're not safe there. And in founding the Be Safe, the Bangladesh Safeguarding Alliance for Educators, which is collaborative to the core, we intend to change that. In other words, to make all education contexts, not just the privileged schools, but all educational contexts, safe places for learning and achievement. So we work at the level of government, and without a national strategy on safeguarding, we are tinkering with policy and procedure. We work at the level of government, and indeed we need changes in law, we need changes in insurance contracts to ensure that schools are safeguarding their learners. And indeed we need investment in facilities, notably clean toilets for girls in schools. So we are partnered with the Safeguarding Alliance. The Safeguarding Alliance is a world leader in safeguarding at government level. And through our partnership, we give all schools in Bangladesh the best of international standards. So those international standards that give certified training, international standards that give the most up-to-date practice. So it's be safe for all. And we believe that all children have a right to feel safe, happy and successful in schools. So safety is one of those foundations that we believe that is necessary for all children to be advanced and high performers. Without safety and a feeling of happiness in a learning situation, you can't have success. Nevertheless, in parallel with what I've said, if you like, in parallel with our first principle, is that belief that not just children can learn, but our radical belief, which is research-backed, that all children can learn to a high level of performance. Now, we teach children how to think and indeed how to learn. We know how to do it and we know how to make that happen. And indeed, through collaboration, it's our duty to make that happen extensively across the nation and to see that success. So through our work with Oxford's High Performance Learning, we can support other schools and we can be a centre for high-performing excellence that we'll collaborate and share. Because there's nothing like feeling that you've had the privilege to spread this high-performance learning across the country. And the great feeling as educators that you get from that. High performance is not the privilege of the few, but indeed it is the right of the many. And indeed it's for all students in Bangladesh. And this is what collaboration brings. So rather than threaten, it's actually a motive force for schools like Haileybury.
Fantastic. You know, sometimes I want to go back to school. And be
Absolutely. I wish we had this type of learning method and
right?
structure. Really.
It would have been so fantastic. I mean, where were you when I was young? Anyway, back to the last segment, Simon, Rubaba. This is on corporate social responsibility, which is CSR, as they say. And this question is for you because we have noticed that CSR has become more of a clarion call these days. You know, so that companies are doing CSR, it's more a marketing campaign. But Oracle has been extremely different in this regard. For example, Oracle has the Oracle Education Foundation, the Oracle Academy. You talked about this a few minutes back. And what I want to ask is, how do you think these two foundations, which are known globally, how is it contributing to CSR in terms of educating of students and most importantly, educators? How are these supporting them?
Yes, I think I've touched upon it a little bit in the previous question. But it's a very important question for companies because when we do CSR, as you said, it's not just saying, oh, I'm doing a social responsibility, give fund for a certain project and then after the project ends then it doesn't continue. I've seen that happen many times. But with Oracle, we actually have a process where we follow through the execution of the plan and then the impact of that execution of that program. It's very important for us. So under Oracle Volunteering and Oracle Giving, we actually run programs for STEM education, especially for disadvantaged community children. We have many schools across Africa and some areas in Asia. I'm trying to bring it to Bangladesh as well very soon, where it's Oracle funded and we give access to the teachers to the right kind of content so that they learn about STEM education and the same is cascaded down to the children in terms of virtual learning. So it's all virtual learning, but it's completely funded by Oracle. Now why we want to do this is, of course, we want more people in the tech. We want more children to choose STEM education and hence we are doing it at a school level so that by the time they're in college and university, they choose that path. The second thing is Oracle Academy and the third thing is Oracle University. So Oracle Academy is focused on again for secondary school. So you and higher education like universities, they get access for faculty as well And we actually do customized programs which can be embedded, incorporated into their curriculum, as I said. And that is again free for all. And with that, you also get access to certain credit on cloud. You get access to storage on cloud. And now we have also embedded generative AI into our cloud services. So you can really make use of that and draw insights, for your education and do customized, learning for various institutions and schools. So, and Oracle University is probably one of the largest virtual universities that I know of. You just go and search for, various topics that you want to learn about. For example, it could be cloud, it could be DevOps, it could be coding, etc. And you get access to those for free. And then for certification only you pay. But as of now, for cloud education, we are giving foundational certificate for free. And it's all virtual again. Anywhere from the world can actually get access to that. So that's how we are helping. And this is also a form of our CSR activities, where we bring in more people into that education framework where they learn about tech and STEM. Yeah.
Excellent. For our viewers, do check out the Oracle Education Foundation, Oracle Academy, and what Ms. Rubaba said, the Oracle University for courses that could be applicable to you. And now, as is the usual thing, Simon, a tough question for you. And this also relates to CSR. I know you've done a lot in the, with competitors, collaborating and stuff, but Haileybury is with no, different connotation. It's a school which is considered, out of the reach of the normal people. I know you've put hundreds of crores of investment in building those, that campus over multiple acres. I know it's a costly school. The fees is the highest for any school in Bangladesh. I would even say the subcontinent. So my question is, there is a meritorious student out here, and I know Haileybury stands for academics, but the meritorious student does not have the money to get in. Now, how does Haileybury help that meritorious student in getting in? Why? I mean, shouldn't that be the CSR you should be doing?
That's a wonderfully enticing prompt, and allow me to remind you that Haileybury Bhaluka is a safe, happy and successful school, and they go in that order. And it's built on those pillars of equity, diversity and inclusion. And that's very important for us. We might be an expensive school in order to be able to attract the best teachers and keep the best teachers, and in order to be able to provide the best possible campus in a beautiful and culturally sensitive learning environment. But we have also created a $15 million scholarship fund. This is the largest investment in school students in the country's history. And our scholarship fund is designed to attract the best brains, irrespective of social background or indeed perceived social privilege. This is a life-changing scholarship that no other school has ever conceived or indeed offered. So, back to first principles, education is a pillar for individual empowerment and societal success. And Haileybury Bhaluka takes its duty to Bangladesh very seriously, but also very practically. That's how we're doing it.
Unbelievable, $50 million scholarship. And I would just hope that all students who are listening to this, make sure you apply for that. And if you're meritorious, Simon out here is going to take you in. Absolutely. Simon, Rubaba, thank you so much for such an exciting episode. We conclude this show right now out here. And it's important for me to tell you that the things that you've said, they've really enlightened me, and they really enlighten our audience out here. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the millions of viewers of a national television show where this is being telecasted, and even our social media platforms where we have close to 10 million people who are going to watch this show. Please learn from what these thought leaders have told you today. In the upcoming episodes, we have exciting people like Ms. Rupali Chaudhary, the head of Berger and the chairman of the Bangladesh Investment Development Authority. So I'm standing in out here for Shuchana, who's not here in this episode, but will be back in the next episode. You guys sign in, same time, same day, next week. And this is Haileybury One signing off. Thank you.